Hello everybody, happy Wednesday, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have another asbo history of Britain. The Battle of Hastings, a bank holiday ruined. The year 1066 saw terrible problems with hooliganism in England, the worst incident of all being the Battle of Hastings. What began as a harmless online debate about who was hardest, England or Normandy, quickly spiraled out of control and ended with a bloody battle on Hastings seafront that saw a royal dynasty overthrown, a country subjugated, and a bank holiday Monday ruined for thousands of day trippers. The summer had already seen a terrible hooligan riot between the English, led by King Harold, and a rampaging mob of Norwegians at Stamford Bridge. The English were victorious, and several hooligans immediately went online to boast about how they'd walloped the invaders. Things became heated when Normandy fans based in France began to question the fitness of the Norwegian team, which led to mounting bad language between the English and the Normans, and culminated with King Harold calling William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, a sneaky nonce and a usurper. It was too late to back down now, and the two leaders arranged to meet in the seaside resort of Hastings to sort it out with violence. It was a hot bank holiday weekend, and King Harold turned up at Hastings in a foul mood and with a raging thirst on. The English had already been drinking on the way down, and they quickly began menacing families at the local inns, racing horses up and down the seafront, and throwing fish and chips at each other. Several of them dropped their pants in public. Others ran around with traffic cones on their heads, and the town's respectable citizens tutted sternly at their antics. With a great roar, the Normans ambushed the English from one end of the beach. Harold downed a final shot of Aquila in the Viking's head, and summoned his guard of headhunters, an elite regiment with tattooed hands and forearms, who had sworn never to run away or inform each other to the authorities. As battle raged outside, they barricaded themselves inside the inn and held the doors against invaders. The Normans threw themselves against the pub doors for much of the day, but were soundly beaten back by the English left outside the pub. Fists flew, noses squelched, and fallen warriors were kicked between the legs. Suddenly, Harold emerged from the inn and cracked William the Conqueror hard, with a perfectly executed headbutt to the forehead. William staggered, stumbled, and crashed head-first into a litter bin, and a great groan went up from the Norman side. With their leader down, they retreated towards the pier. Drunk and excited, the headhunters piled out of the pub to join the rest of the English and chased their enemies onto the beach, tipping over a whelk stand, hurling ice cream everywhere, and terrifying innocent holidaymakers. However, William was not completely out for the count. That morning he had carefully put on several checkered baseball caps, one underneath the other, which had cushioned the blow. Now he removed his headgear and shinnied up a lamp-post, rallying his troops back into the fight and bellowing at great volume as several English hooligans tugged vainly at his legs. The Normans surged forward with renewed vigour, and in the middle of the new fray, William the Conqueror cracked Harold hard in the face with a heavy glass ashtray from a pub table. "Ah!" Harold howled. "Stop the fight! It hurts!" "Bloody hell," said one of the English soldiers. "It was supposed to be no weapons." Harold's eye was literally hanging out. An Englishman fainted. Two Normans threw up in the spot. The elite headhunters stopped what they were doing and trotted back to the pub to find the first aid kit. "Ah!" cried Harold. "Get me to casualty!" "Seriously, I think we should," said a Norman knight. "Why are you all bloody looking at me?" said William the Conqueror. "All right, fine, I'll take him." William threw the wailing Harold over the back of his horse and galloped at speed to the local hospital. The English and Normans looked at each other sheepishly. The air was thick with dust. They all stank of beer, and everyone felt slightly embarrassed. "My wife's probably expecting me home," said one of the headhunters quietly. "Yeah," said a Norman. "Better go and pick the kids up from archery practice." As King Harold staggered into casualty, defeated and clutching his eye socket, both sides slunk away into the night. Although he had technically cheated, William the Conqueror took the throne the next day, after King Harold said he was done with the fighting. And, although the Normans would settle here and eventually become English themselves, the English have had a slight distrust of the French ever since. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and press the wee bell notification. And a huge big thank you to all my subscribers, patrons and members. See you next week. Bye bye.